Hello everybody and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford and we're back after a week of absolute shite technical difficulties. We're back. JP's joined me in this episode. Obviously JP, no podcast for a week or so. We're back on Tuesday evening. Good result on Monday, obviously. Through in our semi-final at Hampden, which I would call Celtic's training run because we always seem to win there recently, apart from obviously last year. But again, mate, I think overall, probably one of the easiest games I've seen this year. Don't think we'll get a lot of credit because it's maybe expected now from us. But I think overall, it's just good to get into our semi-final. And again, considering where we came from, it's been a very good kind of last few weeks at Celtic.
Aye, it has, mate. It's great to be back on now. Cheers for having us back on. Been long overdue. Have been through the wars. So, a bit of a nightmare, mate. Sorry for the camera angle for the listeners and the watchers. But I'm supporting a broken ankle at the moment. So I'm actually sitting in an awkward position. So apologies if people look at me and they think I'm a weird looking shape or I'm a weird position. But mate, the football, no, it's where do we start? It's really positive. It's just another positive step in the right direction on the ranch. I think the team for the beginning of the season now is night and day. I think you can see the vast progression in the team, individual players. Obviously, we're going to talk about that, but no, it's really positive all in. So, aye, definitely. Look forward to see what the run-in now has in store for us. As you said yourself, another semi-final back at Hampden. It'll be interesting. It was a good draw, to be honest. I can't believe, though, the first time in the Cup's history we've got an Edinburgh derby and a Glasgow derby. It's a bit of a new one, isn't it? So it'll be interesting to see what it brings.
Aye, definitely, mate. I think it's a good thing because either team, Celtic or Rangers, can beat the team that's maybe going to be favourites to win it. So it puts the two teams in a good position to go and win the Cup. If you go, obviously in the final you've got a chance of winning it, but if you're knocking out let's prefer one of them who's going to win it, it's a very good draw for either to win. So the only one thing I'd like to speak about, mate, obviously we'll talk about the game, but the commentary, obviously not the commentary, the coverage of the match, for me personally, like we've spoken about in previous pods, that the coverage had to get kind of shook up a bit by obviously different presenters or co-commentators, whatever else. And I need to give a shout out to Big Chris Sutton and Michael Stewart. I thought it was superb last night. A good bit of banter between the both from nothing serious. They were very honest in decisions and how Celtic played and how United played, and just everything about the coverage last night I thought was really good. They went through things quite well, and even some decisions that I thought maybe shouldn't have been, but they were maybe looking at them a bit much, and maybe I thought they should have, i.e. maybe Hatate's red card that we'll obviously touch on. Potential red card that we'll touch on. But I just thought the coverage for the two pundits last night was actually a breath of fresh air, in my opinion. People might have their opinions on the two of them, mate, but I thought last night is obviously our Celtic fans, but I think if you're neutral watching the game, it was actually a good bit of coverage.
Yes, it was indeed, mate. It was a breath of fresh air. I mentioned it on the chat. They two, I mean, you get what you see with they two. It's absolutely quality. They're firm believers and they're right into Scottish football. I think that's a big bonus as well, right? They cover quite a lot. What's happening in the games. They go through analysis well. They talk about. I think what also you get as well, it's no nonsense. There's no nonsense chat. Things getting said for people's ears just to make it sound good. And these guys say what they think, and I think that's what makes them stand out differently from the other pundits you see on TV. They're not frightened to say what needs to be said. And when they were on BT, BT was a brilliant show. You always get right good coverage, even if it was Kilmarnock versus fucking United, or it was always a right good chat before the game, a right good chat after the game. Programmes sometimes lasted 40, 45 minutes when the game finishes, and that's what you want. No, like Sky, I mean, even like the Glasgow Derby on Sky, if that's at 12 o'clock, they'll cut away and go right to Stamford Bridge or the Etihad, or one of the English games. They'll even cut away to go to West Brom versus Crystal Palace. The Sky just don't show the interest that the guys show, and it baffles me, because they were the ones that were up in arms, and when it got put out to tender and BT were chasing it, and Sky made a big song and dance about wanting it. What for? Just because there's 4 Glasgow derbies a season? For me, that's no a big enough interest in Scottish football. Whereas BT were thrown on, like when it gets to the end of the season, BT were thrown on Dundee United versus fucking Ross County, Dundee United versus who was doing the championship at the time? Partick Thistle and teams of that ilk. The Hamilton team that beat Hibs, Alec Neil, that was on BT. Do you know what I mean? And they took a genuine interest to games that they thought mattered. And even when Sutton and Hearts and I've seen Stephen Craigan on recently, as much as people have their own opinions about him, but when they're down south and maybe Darryl Curry's presenting a Saturday afternoon, they're sort of version of Jeff Sterling and the boys. Big Sutton's talking about Scottish football still, and he has a bit of banter with Robbie Savage, and he'll talk to Jermaine Genius about it, or he'll talk to, because these guys genuinely do have an interest in Scottish football as well. It just so happens that they're English pundits. You've got Dermot Gallagher, former EPL referee. He's a massive Celtic fan. Again, he talks about Celtic at any chance he can when he's on Sky Sports. If he's giving referee decisions, it'll always be, if the last wee while I've seen it, it'll always be a Celtic game and something's happened against Celtic that probably shouldn't have happened. And he's been sort of one giving his opinion. So it's a brilliant show, Ryan. It is. It's far superior, in my opinion, to Sky.
And for me, mate, obviously, I'm not a pundit, but I just think you need to be honest. It doesn't matter what your team is or whatever else. I just think you need to be honest. And the thing that annoys me, I think it annoys a lot of fans, not just Celtic or Rangers, but I think in general, this word that commentators say it was soft. Just admit it and say it wasn't a fucking penalty. Just say it wasn't a penalty. If something's debatable, it's that, for me, 9 times out of 10, it's either a penalty or it's no. You get the odd debatable ones where you think, it's borderline, fair enough, but see me say, oh, it could have been given, or it's soft. Just admit it and say it was a fucking penalty. And the one thing I'm talking about is, obviously, we don't like talking about them, right? We don't like it, but I've got to mention the penalty they got, which was an absolute shambles, and I'm sure it was, I can't mind if it was Neil McCann or whoever it was on. It was soft. If it's soft, it's not, in my opinion, for me anyway, if I'm getting a soft penalty, for me is not a penalty. You've got to be absolutely firm in what you're given. The same against us, sometimes we've had, they might have been soft, and for me, I've always says, if I'm a player and I get a soft penalty, I'd chuckle at myself. He's actually gave that. And listen, Celtic fans might not admit it, but we've had some what I would call soft penalties the odd occasion, and you take it. But there's difference between, I just think there's a big difference between a fucking penalty and no. And I think sometimes certain pundits need to just be honest. You're paid to give your honest opinion. We've all got allegiances. Listen, we're Celtic fans, but when you see something that's fucking either blatant or it is worth a debate, you say it. But when things are just blatantly obvious, you've got to just tell the fucking truth. And that's why I like about not just Sutton and what's his name? Stewart.
Michael Stewart.
Michael Stewart. They two are honest. Sometimes I love Big Hartson, but I think sometimes he's got a big soft spot for us, and sometimes he doesn't like to admit certain things about Celtic. Which again, that's his pundit style. That's up to the big man. But I think we all know what I'm getting at here. There's some pundits that own Rangers games, and I feel they just need to be fucking honest. And that's why I think sometimes the coverage you get, you're not telling the truth. But
Aye.
I think sometimes, obviously, we've all got the team we support, but it shouldn't matter what team you support. You're watching a game with your own eyes. Take away your Celtic specs or your Rangers specs. Just be honest and say what you feel.
Aye. No, I agree, mate, totally. Sometimes it's cringy and embarrassing when you're sitting there watching it. And you've got to, and I'm actually going to name names here, and dig them out properly. You've got guys on BT Sport, that mob are playing in Europe, guys like Alec Ray, who just can't see the grass for the blue. Honest to God, it's just unbelievable. A couple of weeks ago, they played Hibs, and he was commentating and all on Rangers TV. And Big Shirley hauls Big Porteous to the deck. Stonewall penalty. He's like that. Oh, it was a coming together. Now, this is the same guy who on Super Scoreboard announces Hatate can't play more than one position. He didn't firmly believe it. But then he said that the boy Sands was a multitasker.
I know, mate, I know.
And right away, if I was Gordon Duncan, I'm sorry, but I would have had to pause the video or pause the recording and pause the show and say, we're really sorry, he's highly medicated now. We need to get him seen to pronto. Because that is just a shambles. Imagine getting on live radio and that's what you call my baby. These guys get paid for this, right?
I know, mate, I know.
No, I don't know if it's, I need the money, I just need, you know what I mean? Or Jimmy Calderwood's handed him rosary beads and he's got them in his pocket and he's rattling them every time he goes on a show, but he's absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Like, I know, mate, I know.
You're just, come on, just be honest. That was a foul. It's a penalty. It's not a penalty. They should have had 5 penalties. And that's just the first half. Now, I remember watching a game, it was a couple of seasons ago. No, it wasn't. It was a Slavia Prague game. It was all right, hoo-ha with the Kamara thing, with the racist comment, and it was just before that. Rangers were in their own half. And I think it was Ruff. Was it Ruff? I think it might have been. Somebody might correct me. I'm not obviously one of their fans, so I wouldn't know. I think it was Ruff. It was live on the BT. And he's fouled just inside the Slavia Prague half. And this is how bitter this guy is. He shouts on the comms, penalty. Now, I think Stephen Craigan and the boy that, I can't mind that guy, he was commentating on our game last night. The boy that does the commentary.
Hamilton. Rory Hamilton.
Rory Hamilton. So Rory Hamilton. Sorry, my apologies. They paused for about half an hour. And I think it must have been the sheer embarrassment. Because you just... So blatant. Penalty. He's only at the halfway line. He's screaming for penalties. Now, the game on Thursday there, when Kent fell out because the guy farted on his leg, he's screaming and, like, beside McCoy's. They must go away. They must go away with cauliflower ears because he's just relentless. He's like that nutcase that sits behind me at Celtic Park, screaming about Big Giakoumakis who's been personal trained with Samaras. What are you on, man?
I know, mate, I know. It's
It's
bonkers, isn't it?
unfortunate, Ryan, you do get these people, and they're definitely out there. But these people don't come out during the day, mate.
No.
They only come out when it's dark.
Like I says, mate, and it's for me, it's called unrestricted view because I think it's some of the stuff has to get put out. Some people won't put it out; it's under the carpet. They won't speak about it. I just feel sometimes stuff like this doesn't need spoke about, i.e., coverage and some things. By the way, it doesn't mean just because it's Celtic, if it's Hibs, Aberdeen, whatever, just be honest on what you're saying and don't have an agenda. But again, only what we love talking about, mate, is obviously the Celtic, obviously a fantastic win, mate, as we says. Maybe a bit of surprise about Jota and Abada no playing. Supposedly we're back obviously for the weekend, which again was counting of kind of doing well the last few weeks, so it'll be a tough game. But obviously Maeda started with Giakoumakis. I thought actually Maeda played well. Should have scored, but we'll go into that obviously with the decision that should have been a goal. Giakoumakis obviously came in, had Tati back in. Again, I thought Tati played well. I thought O'Reilly played well. I thought the full team is again, mate. I thought we could have been up at a few gears again. I thought it was 3-0 going on 5 or 6 again, and you could definitely tell that the players were refreshed after the week that obviously they've had off.
I definitely, mate. As I said to him, speaking to my dad after the game last night, and I says it was just, I think you said it as well, they never get out of second gear. They're out there with cigars and slippers, and it's toffee, absolutely toffee, because it's just all programmed into them now, the way Ange wants the team to play. And they've all bought into it. Every one of them are all buying into the way he wants to play, and obviously you can see the training starting to take its toll on the team now, fitness-wise. I thought the guys you mentioned were all tremendous. I thought McGregor was absolutely top. It was Rolls Royce again.
Yep.
He just epitomises everything that we try and do, and he's the main man and focal point of the team. You can see that.
I think he's starting to. I would say he's starting to grow into what I would call a Celtic captain. He's starting to grow into it now. Yeah,
definitely. You can see him talking to players on and off the ball, like when he's on the ball, when he's, O'Reilly's now starting to read things. He's now starting to pick up on me movements. He's starting to time runs. He's starting to, because 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times last night, big Cameron, Carter Vickers picked big O'Reilly out, and he was in acres of room every time to turn in the first half. Actually, our first goal comes for a good move after 2 of them. We get the corner, and then the corner's well worked, and that was something off the training field. I've not really seen that happen before, and that's the first time I've seen that movement. Actually thought Forrest did quite a good game. I actually shit myself because I thought he'd pulled his hamstring when he was. I know. I actually was like, oh, no, again, because he's now, you can see he's starting to find a wee bit of form. He took a couple of people on last night, which was, again, he done it at Livingston, scored a good goal at Livy as well. So I was happy with Forrest. He showed some good spells. He showed really good pace. He was unlucky with the one. He tried to put. It was too much on it. Big Heart tried to swing it out to the wing. He was unlucky not to pull it down, because if he pulled that down, he was away. So I thought my header was really good, Brian. I thought he's just a machine. He's the only striker, apart from maybe Kyogo, I've seen that can complete 2 sprints identically right away. Like he sprints to the ball, and then, or he sprints to shut somebody down, and then he can do it again. He done it against Livingston. I don't know if you remember it. I think he got the ball and he put it through to Rogic, but he just put too much on it. It was against Livy, where he shut 2 Livy players down, and the 2 of them looked at one another as if to say, "What the hell's he made of? What's he built with?" Because that's just not normal. Like, watching that, his speed is absolutely on another level. Last night, I think it was the boy, was it Niskanen or boy with a blonde hair?
That's right, aye.
He got a fright of his life. He chased him all the way back down the park to left back. And he's like to Taylor, he's pointing to Taylor doing that, he's on, as if you just stay there. and he won. I think he won as a throw-in at the end of it. He's relentless, absolutely relentless. And then obviously Giakoumakis again, mate. He's just getting better and better. His wee cushion, no calves now are all starting to come into play, and his first touch is getting better. He's becoming a lot more comfortable in the scenario now, and he knows he's a goal scorer. So, and he's always in the right place at the right time to snatch anything out. He was unlucky with that one. He slid, I know, right?
He slipped. He slipped.
See if he connects with that, mate. Big Seagrass doesn't he get that? I don't think. So but as I say, mate, it's all. I've said it weeks and weeks ago, mate. Business end of the season. This is when you start to see players coming to the fore. And as Ange keeps talking, mate, the way he's built that team and the way he's been building, they're going to start getting stronger to peak towards the end of the season. That's going to be frightening, mate, especially when you've got Turnbull and Kyogo and all that still to come back.
Yeah, mate, obviously in Giakoumakis, when they first signed, I was raving about people saying this guy's going to be a belter. He'll do really well. He's got 9 goals in 21 games. Considering he's been out for most a bit of the season, he came no fit. He's been stop, start. He's always in the right place. He's always in the box. And that's why I'm, like I've said to you as well, and other guys in the chat, that when you've got wingers, you need to have a guy like that in the box. You need to have a guy like that, because if you're, sorry, for me, Maeda, he's a striker, but the way he played last night, I've no qualms about him playing that. If it's going to give us either Giakoumakis or Kyogo in the box, because they two can do that job. For me, it's a massive positive headache that Ange's got. As much as Kyogo's the main man, probably right, and Ange's eyes right. See, if Giakoumakis keeps scoring up to Ibrox, you can't drop him.
No,
you can't. It's more. I'll take that back. He can drop him, but for me, on form, he scored 5 goals in 2 games. So the guy should not be getting dropped. Like I say to you, I think in fact before his hat-trick, or was it Effie's hat-trick? He got
he took an illness, didn't he? And he was left out for a couple of games. Well, he got brought on against Liverpool.
So I wouldn't even call that a game, because it was only for 15 minutes. But
no.
I was like, obviously we don't know the extent of his illness, but I know for a fact that if he wasn't ill, he'd have started that game. I think the guy's brilliant. He's something that we've no got. He's got a bit of nasty cheek about him, which I think we need, especially if I want to play in European football and obviously going to Ibrox. You need to be a bit physical. I just think we've got the team now where if Ange does want to go to a 4-4-2, he can. If he wants to play 1 up front, he can. 3 up front, you've got so many options. Like you say, you've got which Ange calls the bill, the bill still to come back. You've just got so many options now, and you've got no qualms about who plays now. If it's Wilson at right back, if it's Kyogo, if it's Giakoumakis, obviously I still think Maeda might need to do a bit more in the goals. I know he's got 5 or 6 goals, but I think certain parts he's got to do a bit better. But on last night's performance, I generally can't criticise anybody at all. I thought it was an absolute superb performance. Obviously, O'Reilly's been called up to Denmark as well. I think it's the 21. So,
aye,
as you say, mate, everything's all coming to fore at the right time. Every player's stepping up. And another guy I want to talk about, and for me, I think Vickers is a different class. I thought Starfelt, first 5-10 minutes is a wee bit shaky, but the rest of the game I thought it was superb.
He was alright to take that big swipe and catch that leg, you know what I mean?
First 5 or 10 minutes.
His leg went up there and Taylor caught it.
First 5-10 minutes, mate, I thought I was like, he's a bit shaky today, but the rest of them, for me, mate, the rest of the game was superb. And like I says, at football, for me anyway, you can only, at that game or at that week or whatever, that performance, you can only comment on what you see at the time. And sometimes what you say at the time, in 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, isn't maybe the right thing to say, or it might not be what's going to happen. At the time, when Starfelt first came in, he wasn't the best. He looked uncomfortable. He still looks uncomfortable with his technique. It's one of the worst techniques I've ever fucking seen. But that's just the way he is. It is, mate. Even my old man says it. He says, Ryan, it's a fucking one of the worst techniques I've ever seen. But it does the job. I think sometimes, especially with social media, I don't think Starfelt can fucking win with some fans. I don't think he can win. no matter how, if he makes one mistake, they'll still say, he made a mistake. I'm like, aye, he did, but he was good the rest of the match. We kept a clean sheet. He was comfortable when it came to passing the ball out, and Vickers for me is different class. We need to sign him. Obviously, the Champions League is going to obviously interact who we sign and how much we sign, but a 42, as much as I think Julian's still a very, 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 very good player for us, they took the back are absolutely solid.
Aye, I agree with you, mate. You know my thoughts on Starfelt, mate. He's a belter. I've always said it. I said it for day one when he made his debut at Tynecastle, and I thought he was a good player. I could just see something in him right away. You know the game. You've played the game. You've been in about the game. You only need to see a guy for 10, 20 minutes, and you know he's got something or he's no. Do you know what I mean? And I knew he was. You know, he was there for Ruben Kazan. He was rushed right into the team straight away. Because of the fee we paid for him, bump, right, you need to play, because we were sort of numbers and all right, you know what I mean? I think a guy at the reception in Lennoxtown got a game or not at the beginning of the season. I think he get 20 minutes here and there, it just helped man due at the time. But, no, as I say, Starfelt, for me, he's unbelievable. See his timing, Ryan, on the deck, challenging. He's unbelievable. I was at a game with Barry, just the St Mirren game there, and Barry's like to me, like, man, I see what you're talking about now, and I went, what do you mean? He went, about the Starfelt thing. You're talking about he's challenging on the deck, and I've said it to a couple of people, and every one of them have all come back to me now and went, I get what you mean now. I seen it right away, because I played midfield, but I also can play at the back and all. You can read the game, right? You know what I mean? Once you can see that he can read the game really well. Vickers, on the other hand, he's just a Rolls Royce. He's like fucking unbelievable. Even when he gives the ball away, it doesn't look that bad.
But see the thing I like with it, not just with it too, mate. The full squad. Actually, the thing that really impressed me last night was Giakoumakis had a few dodgy touches, but as soon as he lost it, boom, he was fucking right on it. He was chasing back. Even the last 5 minutes, mate, we were relentless. We were chasing down. That for me, mate, that's one of the biggest things about the team now. Everybody's chasing the ball. Even last night, we all know, I don't think Greg Taylor's fantastic, but he was superb last night. He was trying to go by men again. He was challenging. He was chasing back. I just thought the way the team is, everybody's hungry. Their all desire is there to go and win games of football. And it's just right, big Vickers, mate. Some of the passes he plays up top, it's brilliant. And like he says, mate, see when you played the game, some guys have not played football, but they love football and they might see it a different view to maybe somebody who's played at any level, any good level of football. But if you played the game and you see a guy doing certain things, like you say, you know when guys have got certain attributes. It might not show up right away, but you can always tell somebody he's a player.
Aye.
And for me, the guy Vickers, I think he's maybe the last year that his contract with Spurs or whatever, but surely he's got to be a guy we've got to try and get. If obviously, I do believe that if we win the league, it's going to open a big pot of fucking players for us, obviously money wise. But I just thought what really impressed me about us, especially yesterday, mate, was how after the ball we were good, very, very structured, the positional play, and it was just a fucking effort to try and win the ball back. For me, like you say with Vickers, as soon as he gives the ball away, he might give the ball away, but because he's that good, he gets the ball back, and it's fucking brilliant to watch. It's what we want for a Celtic team. You can understand losing a game, but see when you're chasing back like that and you get beat, you can take it. But the way we're playing the now, mate, I even said to my dad watching the game, mate, I went, I'm getting the feeling on same under Rodgers. Is it 2 this week? Is it 3? Is it 4? You're not even contemplating losing a game. And like we says, mate, you've no divine right to win any fucking football game. Doesn't matter if you're playing East Stirling or you're playing Barcelona. You've no divine right who you beat. But you're turning up now and you're thinking, surely we can't get beat today. You've got so much confidence in the team and the way they're playing. But I just want to highlight, mate, that really impressed me last night, the way after the ball now, it's not just on the ball.
Oh, no. No, they're well. You can see they're well drilled, Brian. They're being well coached. You can see it, mate. And that's only going to get better, mate. The further, I mean, obviously, in terms of the European adventure we had this season, and there's things there that Angel certainly want to brush up on. I think this season showed a lot of these boys haven't played at that level before. Some of them not even at all. 1 or 2 games here and there for other teams, whatever else. But I think the naivety in them showed this season.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going like that, but you still had McGregor and you still had Beaton and you still had Joe Hart and these guys are okay. There's quite a lot of that team that haven't, especially a lot of the boys that have came from Japan, and they've not played in Europe before against these teams that are well drilled and well coached, and Scandinavian teams. I know. I mean, the team that just beat us here, Bode Glimt, they're a well worked team. They're a well oiled machine. I think it was Barry on the chat, mate. He made an interesting point. They're about 3-4 years into their cycle, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they've lost some players, but they've got the nucleus of their team still, and they've kicked on. They've recruited well again, and that, again, mate, that's what it comes down to: good recruitment. When you buy, and that's been well apparent under Ange, mate. Not just the recruitment side of it, but the speed of the transfers, the way he's done it. He's buying players to fit a system.
Mm-hmm.
No guys that we're not going to see for fucking 6 to 8 months, or they're going to disappear and away, like Marvin Comper, guys like a Scarlet Pimpernel, man, and we turn up for a game of 5 or 6 on a Tuesday when they're fucking injured the rest of the time, know what I mean? And we don't want to know that, know what I mean? It's no. I'm not wearing that strap because it's a bumblebee strap, and I'm not disappear for months, know what I mean? A Dirk Barigter, man. Turned up for a night out, and I think that was the only thing he was there for.
See, to be fair, on Dirk Barigter, mate, I generally thought that guy was a belter. I just thought he was so unlucky with injuries. I was at his debut, I think he took half after 45 minutes. But the 45 minutes, mate, he was taking guys on, he was quick, I was like, this guy's a belter. And then he get off injured, and I just obviously, we don't know what goes behind closed doors, but Celtic knew he was injury prone, but you don't play with Ajax most weeks and play against Real Madrid in the Champions League if you're fucking donkey. If you're a donkey, I don't. People might say you do, but you don't play with Ajax in most weeks if you're a fucking donkey. So the guy obviously had something, but no, it was attitude, injuries, or whatever. But I thought that guy was a belter. But he did turn up for a night shooter, apparently. So
Rob Douglas played in the UEFA Cup final, but it doesn't mean to say he was a fucking goalie, mate. Know what I mean?
Rab, again, if you're watching, it's only banter, mate. I'd love to have you on back to come on talk to us.
Big Rab's one of the best window washers I've ever known, man. I'm telling you.
He's a legend. That's fucking a bro if anyone, man. What a crazy.
He's the only guy I know at foot the net was for stomping the ball.
At the end of the day, mate, I know we have a bit of banter, but the guy played for Celtic for so many games, so he is obviously.
Oh, he did. I'm only joking. I'm only kidding on. I was just trying to make a wee joke there when you say, yeah, you don't play with Ajax, you don't do that, and you. No, listen, Dirk Barigter's obviously. His Celtic career's a 45-minute cameo appearance. You know what I mean? Then I think he broke his shoelaces and he disappeared for nearly 3 years.
Back to the red light district in Amsterdam.
Back to the red light district with Slaney. I'm in Slaney. I've got one on speed dial. But no, as I say, but the team's just they're progressing the right way now, and where we've came from to where we are now is just remarkable. The achievement he's made. I think he's only played a certain percentage of games, Ryan, and he's already got a higher win ratio. He's got the second highest win ratio for Martin O'Neill.
I've seen that, mate.
In the history of the Celtic managers. I think he's sitting in 70% in odds. I can't remember the odds. And that's above like Rodgers and, get other guys that have done well, striking. And so it just shows you. It just shows you where we are. And in my opinion, mate, I'm really glad we didn't get Eddie Howe. so glad. I feel so privileged, mate, and I wanted that guy, you know. And I'm so privileged now that we didn't get him.
I can see your coming from, mate. I do agree, but I still do. But the mind Eddie Howe's got Newcastle kind of playing now, I do think Eddie Howe would have made it successful. I do
personally, but I'm kind of glad we didn't get him. I don't mean that in a malicious way at all, mate. I'm just meaning, like, I'm glad things happened the way they did.
No, I get you, mate, because the way I just don't know. It's just serious the way Ange is, mate. It's even we'll talk about obviously the Ben Doak situation, but just the way he talks about certain situations, mate. He's just, you can listen to. I could honestly just sit with a guy with a fucking bolt of vodka or a cup of tea, whatever I need to drink, and just let that guy talk about football. I think you would walk out feeling like he's one of your fucking steaming, but I think you would walk out steaming full of caffeine.
But you get carried. I might not walk out, pal. You get carried it.
But I think you would walk out feeling like you play with fucking Celtic. It would just intrigue you too much. Like I said, no matter what happens, if we win the league, if we didn't win a trophy, it's obviously, we don't know if he'd be here, but you've got to look at what he's saying and what he's doing. No wonder he plays a running through a bit was for the guy. You just look at him and go, that guy's got a presence.
But I heard he picks her prescriptions up on a Tuesday. That's how he goes and does him favours and that. He has done a little shopping for him and all. Then the ones that don't want it, he just orders it online for him and gets it sent to the house.
I'll tell you what, talking about Lidl, man, see the fucking donuts and yum-yums. Oh, mate. You need to get involved, man. Unbelievable, man. You can't have one. It's 3 or 4 with a cup of tea and you've done about 2,000 calories in fucking 10 minutes.
Boxes.
Fucking brilliant.
The yum-yums are yum-yum.
Fucking toffee and all. Oh, Jesus.
Toffee. What one do you want? Ange I mean, he's been a breath of fresh air to Scottish football, in all honesty. I think a lot of managers need to take a leaf out his book, mate, and start being honest with certain stuff as well, because you hear a lot of managers post-match and you're going, are you on, man? Like, hey, disco baskets must be fucking magic down your way, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Robbie Nielsen. Am I the only guy that thinks he looks like Stephen Presley's boy? And like, you're just like that. What are you doing?
I think him and Austin McCann are fucking 3 brothers.
Aye. The 3 Stooges. But you're just like, I mean, some of the things he comes away with, like that one at Parkhead, Kyogo scores. And he's offside. Nothing to do with the fact that he's one of the best movement.
I know.
Players owning half the ball. Like, give the guy credit, you know what I mean? You're just credit. How that changed the game. Of course it did, we won 1-0 yet. Oh, honest to God, sometimes you just make me, you just feel like screaming at the telly, man. Like when the day post matches and then you get big hands, no, breath of fresh air. He's like, hey, Hazel. If you think that decided the game, you're watching a different match for me. I love answers like that, man. You know, like, don't ask me daft questions because you're going to get a daft answer.
I know.
And Big Ange's just telling it like it is, mate. You know? Like, are you going to Australia to make money? No, we're going to Australia because there's a massive Celtic supporter there who want to see us team play. That's why we're going to Australia.
But that's the thing, the media, they're trying to, I think you'll agree or not, I think they're trying to, they still try to trick Celtic up, the managers, the players. Even last night, the lot of Giakoumakis also has a treble on, and he's like, mate, are we talking about? No, we're just focusing on the next game. They're trying to, because he's come out and says that Celtic are the best team and blah, 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 they're trying to trip him up because he's foreign. People say...
He's been spoken to. I reckon after I won last night, you can tell he's been spoken to.
And he's like, no, treble's too soon. We'll just win the next game and we'll go there. I notice the media's job to do that for headlines, but I just think some of the questions sometimes is mental. And like you say, with Big Ange, as soon as he says, mate, you know you're fucked.
Mm-hmm. we won 2-0 against St Mirren, and the guy says to him, that was a hard watch, wasn't it? And he says, well, it depends what angle you're looking at. He says, you're obviously not happy with the result, but I am.
I know.
You're like, what do you want him to say? Again, St Mirren, mate, but dry first half, okay. But I don't think we played bad, Ryan. I've seen us play a lot worse and walk away with absolutely hee-haw. We won 2-0.
I think what people, is like we've spoken about, mate, what people need to understand is it's very hard for fans to watch when you've got 11 men or 10 men behind the ball and the goalkeeper just sitting parking the bus. I know that's the way teams play to get results. I totally understand that, but it's frustrating as fuck because there's only so much as a team you can do. We say that we need to get the ball in the box, we need to do things quicker, but it doesn't matter if it's Barcelona or it's Celtic Hearts, whoever you're playing against. See if you've got 10 men behind the ball, it's so hard to break down. It's so fucking hard. It's a hard watch that way, but like you said, you want a game 2-0. You scored 2 goals and you've had about 15 corners, 70% possession, 24 shots attempts at goal. It may be a hard watch because it was frustrating, but you're still there. You're still beating the team. And like you says, it all depends who's asked the questions, who's fucking what bias they've got, but you're still winning games.
Nice.
Mate, see, JP, we're 30 fucking games unbeaten.
I know.
There might have been 2 or 3 draws in that, but you're 30 domestic games unbeaten, and yet they're still questioning the fucking team. When you win the league, then you can maybe no question it. I understand, but you're 3 points ahead of 3 points. But you're 3 points ahead. It's been a 9-point swing, whatever it is. Considering where you've came for it, and you're still questioning the team. It's like, what planet are you on?
No. I think it's brilliant, but see when you, like even the Juranovic interview before the derby, when they said to him, so do you use up the training levels and all that for us? And he says, no, we train like us, we're playing Hibs. Pure straight face. Like the way he replied to the guy, he went, no, we train like we're playing Hibs. As if, what else do you want me to say?
I know.
I think one of the belters was Alan Stubbs. Remember Stubbsy? When they were linked to Scott Allen? And he went like that, there's a clause in his contract to say that Scott can go to a bigger team if a bigger team comes in. They went, but they're not a bigger team. Just tell the truth. But it was his answer to the guy, and I love that, Ryan. She just, it's not a wind-up, that's reality. And that's what they don't like. They don't like people that are real. They want people to live in this airy-fairy deluded bubble that they all live in.
Delude them all tablets.
They delude them all fucking capsules that they all get after GP. They want everybody to, just live in here. La La Land. They're at a big goose. And that's just not what it's about, mate. No, somebody's living reality and, we see what we want to see, we see what's real. And that's it. And nothing any of us say, or, as I said before, mate, they think it's everybody else and not them. Know what I mean? They're the ones that stand in glass houses and want to slag everybody else. Throw bricks at everybody else. But they don't like it when it's coming back at them.
And obviously, as you says, obviously, contentious decisions, etc. We spoke about last night, Berser, that again, obviously, we'll touch on the Hatate decision. I know fans might say it was a red card or it could be a red card. I'm not going to say it wasn't a red, but I'm not. I don't want to. On my first instinct, right, I thought it looked a bit. It was a bit fucking aggressive. But see, when you actually look at it, see the way he's not actually put his foot to the guy's fucking. He's wearing like that to try and fucking stop himself. I don't. I think that I can see where people are coming from, right? But I see the way football's going now, mate, right? It's probably a red card, right? It's probably a red card the way football's gone, because football for me in the next fucking 25, 30 years probably going to be a fucking non-contact sport. It's embarrassing the way some fouls are gave it. You bang into somebody now, it's a free kick. You're like, come on, fuck. These guys are athletes. They're fucking ripped to shreds and they're falling like sack of totties and they're getting free kicks and it's just. But again, the referees obviously have got to follow what they call a rule book. But on this day and age, mate, it was probably a red card, right? But see, if you want to go on people who have played football and been involved in football and you've seen tackles, it's probably a booting eye and it might give the guy a sore leg. But there's a total difference between a bad tackle and getting to fucking do somebody. It's a big difference. Probably on, as I says, mate, on my personal opinion, for me playing football, I think a yellow card would have been fair. But on this day and age, the way football's coming, mate, it probably was a red card. I think that's the reason why Ange took him off at half time.
I would agree, mate. Also, my thought exactly would be if McGabby's is a red card against Motherwell, against Hibs, then that's just no more. It's got to be, because it's the same challenge.
It's got to be, like you've said, like I said, I don't want to admit that my playing these sent off, but on the way football is, mate, if you want to have consistency, then attack.
No, I said it on the chat. I'm not going to hide behind it, mate, and I'm not going to sit on the fence. I thought it was a red card, personally. I can see where Dundee United felt aggrieved. I thought he was late in the challenge. I thought he was running. He was also running full pelt going into that challenge. If you look, he speeds up when the guy passes the ball on. And I thought he was very, very lucky not to be sent off. I really did. I know he tries to pull out it, but I think because of the way he was running, the speed's still there in the challenge. And I think he was lucky not to be sent off. I agree. I think that's why Ange took him off. I think he started to try a wee bit harder, should I say. And I think he was just maybe getting a wee bit carried away. I don't think he tried to hurt the boy or anything, but what I do think is, I think he was lucky to be on the party, to be honest with you. Because if that was your way about and that was one of your players that was challenged like that, mate, we'd have been screaming for it.
I just think
that's the way you've got to look at it.
I think if you're probably talking about 30 years ago, mate, it's not a red, but the way football's gone and everything's like that, it's got to be a red card now. You're probably right, mate, but I'm trying to be as realistic as I can.
There's a guy in my Friday Fives, mate, he tackles like that every week.
So he should be off and on.
And if you're talking about fucking bad challenges, mate, he'd be sent out now if he still played 11s.
You're probably right, mate. Probably was the only way the football's gone and the way you've got to be consistent. It probably was a red card and we were lucky, but I don't think it was a matter in the game, mate. I thought we'd still won the game anyway. But obviously, again, it's intense decisions. Maeda, how that's not a goal. For me, I thought, supposing that the handball rule says now that if it's accidental or it's come together or whatever, it's not a foul or it's not a handball. So for me,
only if the direct player doesn't gain the advantage and it's somebody else, that's what happened last night.
The ball came across. Giakoumakis is trying to put it in the net. It's hit off an United player. It's hit off his horn, and it's went Maeda. What can Giakoumakis do? He's looking at the ball at his feet. But see, if you look at the rule book, I listened to Super Scoreboard for the last 10 minutes, something like, and a guy came on, he says, even a few pundits are basically says that he's forgot the rule book. So how can John Beaton no come out and explain why didn't he get that? I'm all for referees come out and explaining why they give a decision. Then if it's a right decision, I'm like, right, okay, fair enough. You come out and explained it, right, cool, no bother. Mm-hmm. Why can they not come out? Why do players and managers need to come out and say about how they performed or how didn't they perform, what's their feeling after the game? I'm not saying the referee's got to come out after the game and do it. It's maybe half an hour after the game after he's had a shower and he's chilled out or whatever. But why did they just get put away? It's under the carpet and it's away. Why can they not come out and explain why they gave this penalty or they gave this free kick or they didn't give this? Because players and managers and as fans as a whole, I'm not saying they don't get respected, but they may actually understand them a bit better and actually get to know the game as the outset from not being a referee. Because if they explain decisions, fans might go, do you know what? Don't agree with it, but at least you've explained your fucking reasoning why. I think that would maybe be something. I don't think it'll ever happen, mate, because I think it just when it happened, the SFA just when they put their colleagues out in that perspective. But between that and then obviously the belly one, I think for me that one infuriates me. It was a wee shove, right? But he's put his two horns up in the air, and by all accounts, if his two horns in the air, he's pushed them, he's knocked him off balance. The belly's running at pace, he's knocked him off balance. It's a fucking penalty. But see if that's it off on each, is that getting gave in 93rd minute? I'm very doubtful. 3-0 up and then get gave. Come on, man. It doesn't matter if you're 10-0 up or nothing each. A foul is a foul and it's going to be given.
That was up the other end. It was McNulty. That was a penalty, mate, all day long. He'd have gave that to Bora.
Oh, sure it was, of course.
So, I've got my thoughts on that individual referee. I think they took selfies there. The SFA put it out there a bit. Yeah, he was on a VAR training course because the VAR's coming in next season. It's a fucking rulebook course he needs to go on and learn how to become a referee properly. That is a shambles. He's unbelievable. A couple of seasons ago, Morelos should have been sent off about 3 times at Ibrox in the game against us.
There was about 7.
Stoning in Ralston's belly and kicking fucking Ayer's head. And
see the thing with that is what, right? I think what frustrates me, yourself, and other Celtic fans is, mate, right? He might have made the wrong decisions, right? But see the fact that after it, that nobody thought that he was wrong. That is just. Then he's still got the big games.
He's a bit of a Sasquatch at the end of the night and all that. Stoning taking selfies with fans with pints of lager and so on. Hey, why is he allowed to referee the team's biggest rivals? Why is he allowed to referee their games? We must be the only nation that the referees are that shocking. We've got to be.
And they can't get dragged because if they all come out like they do down south and swear their allegiance to a club, you're probably talking seven weeks or something. So it can't happen, man.
No, they can, because down south you've got to hang with your allegiances.
Aye, but that's what I'm saying. Up here it couldn't happen because we all know the story.
No, I know that, but surely they're not. Even the modern day man, surely not every one of them's. Come on, know what I mean? There's going to be a Queen of the South fan in there, or like Celts and Juniors, or Vela Clyde, or something. They've got to. Come on, know what I mean? You can picture a bits of papers getting handed back, can't you?
All right.
Yeah. I'm Mary Hill Mud Splashers supporter, man. I go with my granddaughter on a Saturday. What age are you, 24?
A Blackstall game. Where did he play? Dundee Green.
Aye. Who's that? Made Up United. I can't love you. Aye. On the Rare FC.
Aye.
Aye.
It's just.
Stick your hat in your thumb, bowler.
But you've just got to. Again, it's not even really been mentioned. That's the thing. Nobody's mentioned it on social media or the paper. Nobody's mentioned that Celtic should have had. We're saying now they probably should have got a red card, right? But we should have probably had at least one penalty. And I'm forgetting that there was a home ball as well in the box for fucking.
And another goal.
And then
the second one ball, the boy really, again, the boy can't really do it. I don't think the second one was a home ball.
It's just the way football's gone. It's just the way football's gone. But if I want to say home balls or shoot things in, you've got to be consistent and gear the home ball. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he's seen a home ball with Giakoumakis, but he didn't see the other two in the second half.
No.
But to be honest, I know. I mean, we're walking away feeling aggrieved that these decisions, Ryan. The team won 3-0. A lot of people will why just happy the team won, but it's not it's the inconsistency people aren't happy with, Ryan. It's not the actual rules itself. It's more the fact that the mistakes that's been blatantly made now. It's game in and game out, mate. It's not just 1 or 2 games. It's happening most weeks now. There's a big call with a referee that is or isn't or the right decision. And I get these guys, it's hard to see things with a naked eye. Mm-hmm. But that's why, they're sponsored with Specsavers, mate, and they still get it right. You know what I mean? surely there's advanced technology now that these guys can go and get their eyes properly tested to see if they can actually see or not. Or is it just a team in green and white they don't want to see? So, because it seems to be that teams against us seem to get 5 and 6 kicks in on a guy before he's even spoken to.
Mm-hmm.
Then another 4 goes by when he's booked. As soon as one of your players makes a challenge, he's booked straight away. You're like, what's going on here? It's totally. Sometimes, mate, it's just so blatant. And again, I'm not talking out of turn there, mate. I'm only saying what I see. And it is beyond a joke. And you're trying to play, you're trying to gain a bit of momentum, and you're not at a stage now where you're thinking, Celtic need to try and take a game away from us, Bob, because and do what they done in the last Glasgow derby and be 3-0 up at half time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think to yourself, the refs got to do something or something like, we've got to get another Inverness, Kelly, on ball here that the whole world's going to see apart from the ref.
See, I understand people might listen to this and they might say, oh, he's a fucking thinking refs against Celtic. No, I'm just wanting referees to be consistent. They might be consistently not very good, right? But see, like you say, for the Motherwell red card, if that's a red card, that's a red card, right? The penalty that Rangers got on the weekend there, right? There was one against Ross County. Exact same scenario, it didn't get gave, right? Decisions, people might argue that we've no got or we have got that no gave. Sometimes inside you're thinking, fuck, how do we get away with that? It's football. But we've got...
Look at the man Big Shirley turns into a UFC fighter and holds big protest to the deck. Come on.
For me, the one that highlights, well, we get lucky was Hatate, man. One of the way football's gone, it probably was a red card, but I just think we've got to, like, maybe we could do a full podcast on referees, mate. It's not to down them, it's a thing. There must be something to VAR might help, but you've seen VAR down south getting fucking decisions wrong.
Well, I help you, Ryan. Who's the ones that are behind the camera? Who's the ones that's watched the monitors? These are the same guys that are getting these mistakes wrong, mate.
I don't know.
And even with 5 or 6 replays, are they still going to, oh, we got that wrong? Because it's these guys that are making mistakes, right? So, unless you're bringing in extended help, which, in my opinion, to set it all off right away to eliminate the teething problems, it's probably going to have, because, let's be honest, Scottish footballers, especially the Scottish Premier League, they've not been used to this technology. So, okay, one or two of them have had a shot at it playing in Europe. Celtic and the other team, they get shots at playing in Europe, but we don't we don't see it every week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like teams like Hearts and Ross County, and I'm hoping that it helps these teams, because I remember League One John coming out and he pulls down a boy early on against Dundee. Mm-hmm. He's to be sent off and he get yellow card. He done exactly the same thing up at Perth.
Yep.
And you're like, what's happening here? Like, again, mate, you're talking about blatant things that should, and again, just incompetency, right, is the word I'm looking for. Totally incompetent to do the job that's been required. And again, upstairs in the referees association, I know these guys are, they do a lot of hard work, they do training, and they do this, they do that, but I don't know whether it's to go full time or, but they just don't, whatever they're doing, they're not doing enough. They're just, something's gone wrong. Because it's week in and week out. I watched that Motherwell game with Hibs at the weekend. Mugabe was sent off. 6 minutes later, the boy Roberts from Motherwell makes the same challenge.
Yep.
And he's booked. No sent off. And it's Wally Coleman.
I generally, I know.
I don't know what to say. I really don't know what's going to help them. I really don't. But having a decent brain, first and foremost, to think about your decision making on the spot, I think that needs to improve. Mm-hmm. To say to yourself, I sent him off for that challenge, and I'm only booking him for that challenge. What message is that sending out? That's why we're infuriated, Ryan. No, it's not the rules ourselves, mate. It's the inconsistency. I can sit here and say, a Celtic player deserves to be sent off if that's the case, or the other team should have got a penalty if that's the case. Like I did with Starfelt when he pushed big, was it Nisbet in the box against the cup final? Aye. That's a penalty, in my opinion. That is a Stonewall penalty. I would have been screaming if I was up there then.
Aye.
Screaming, and I was at the game. So I'm not going to sit here and say, no, just be that blatant and biased. I'm not going to be that silly. We need it to be consistent, mate. No. Oh, we've done it there, but we're not going to do it there. We've done it there, we're not going to do it. That's just going to upset everybody, mate. And the fans that pay their money to go and see their team play, and when they're watching that happening, they're being confused because they're going, hold on a minute, he's made that challenge. McGregor made that challenge there, and Roberts just done that. How's he not been sent off? Because you can see the Hibs players going, that's the same challenge. Like, what's the difference between that and Big McGregor? Apart from the fact that the big man's having a shiver and he's still in the park.
I know, mate.
So,
it's bonkers, isn't it? There's a lot of things, obviously. I think next year, obviously, with teething problems with this VAR, but I just hope for it can help in some degree, because, again, this isn't a personal vendetta against referees. We're just wanting the guys to get the best that they can get and just be better for Scottish football in general. And obviously, for another thing that's popped up this week is obviously probably that somebody's already knew that Ben Doak was maybe going to Liverpool. Celtic obviously can confirm yet with Celtic, but we probably know what's going to happen. We've spoken about in previous pods at length that there's got to be certain ways which we can maybe help the youth guys, or what we've got to do to try and keep these guys, whatever else. And Andrews obviously knew that this was happening. He's gave the boy Ben Doak a few minutes to try and obviously entice him, but I'm totally with Ange. And if you don't want to beat Celtic, I'm not want to say F off, because some of these guys are only young guys, but if you don't want to beat Celtic then and you want to go elsewhere, then again, it's a short career. I totally understand you want to go and better your career, but you can get a good academy at Celtic, you can get a good level at Celtic. You might not play right away, but Ange has shown that you can get minutes if you're good enough. He's no afraid to put guys in. He was playing because he obviously merited playing by the way he was training and whatever else. Abby's obviously, I've always a believer of what can we do better, why are these guys gone? But see, when you look at the way we are playing this year, mate, I don't know what you think, mate, but how can any young player say, why am I not playing, or why am I not getting a chance? Look at the way the team is playing. Look at even the guys who are on the bench. McCarthy, I played last night. McCarthy done well last night. They can only kept it simple.
I thought he looked really good. The one he lobs there, I think it's Big McDonald, mate, and he lobs it Eddie Sheed and runs on him and takes it down his knee and then turns, and I thought that was lovely. Mate, I don't think he's put a foot wrong any time he's played.
If you guys like him, right, the guys on the bench, Johnson and Berry, guys who are a bit older than guys like Ben Doak and stuff, should there be a divine right for these guys just because we want to keep them to play? I don't know what Celtic as a club can maybe do better. I know we've said that I think they spend £2.5 million or £2 million in the academy, but you've got guys like Johnson, you've got Dembele, you've got guys like Ralston, so we have got academy players in the squad. McGregor, I just don't know. What is it? Is it bad? Is it bad agents? Is it bad reps? Is it bad advice that they're getting told? Because what I found really funny, right? I don't know if it was Ben Doak who says it himself or his farm. I don't know who came out and says it. If it's the papers just making things up, but supposedly a sentence was he's want to go and work with Jurgen Klopp. He'll be in the fucking youth team. He'll not be anywhere near fucking Jurgen Klopp. He might get a wee taster, but he'll be in the youth team. Jurgen Klopp will be very, very doing it in the fucking youth team. He's got Sarah, Mane, Firmino, Jota, Diaz. You're not be dealing with you guys at fucking this time of the season. So I don't know what. I understand now they're maybe going for money, maybe better lifestyle, better fucking training. I don't know, but see if you look at Celtic Park, you look at the way this club is at the moment, right? He could be in a Champions League squad with Celtic next year, right? He could have been in. He could have maybe won the league with Celtic, a treble, possible treble. Going to Australia next year with Celtic, but there's so much positivity at Celtic to fight Celtic, and I totally agree with Ange now. If you don't want to be here, then okay, pack your bags and I'll see you later. Best wishes to you, pal, or whoever it is. And this isn't just a young guy, this is an experienced guy. If it's Taylor, fucking McCarthy, Giakoumakis, whoever it is, if you don't want to be here, then we'll get somebody else to come in and take your place. There's plenty of youth guys that will come in and take the place of the young guys that are leaving, but I don't know you think we need to do better, mate, but I was a big believer of, is it more money, is it better contract, is it more minutes, but see when the squads, as it is at the moment, these young guys can't complain. They're playing with Celtic. Surely at 15, 16, listen, I would like it was Robert that says in the chat last night, every one of us would run through broken fucking glass to play with Celtic for fucking a fiver. And these guys get an opportunity to do it at 15, 16. And I think Islam Farouz, I think that boy get bad advice. And his career's he's done. He's retired. He's finished. He might have finished a millionaire, which is amazing. But I totally agree with Ange that if you're getting told that you've played international football, you've won trophies, you've a very good career, and a fan comes up to you and says, by the way, you played to Scotland, that's amazing. And Ange goes, you know what, I'd rather be getting told that than walk away with £1 million. You know what? When I was brought up, I was brought up to have the trophies and the winners' medals and playing with brilliant players. I don't think about the money. I'm more saying I wouldn't have tried a wee tiny bit harder if I knew I was maybe getting £1 million a year. I might have tried a bit harder. That wasn't why I played football. It was to play with Celtic, and if Celtic remember you and gave you a five a week, you'd be fucking laughing. I just don't know what's going to change, mate. I don't know if it's the money, the contracts. Because if you look at the facilities we've got, it's the best in Scotland. And for what I see, the Leonardstown's, let's be fair, right? Murray Park is a fucking brilliant to go and train. So is Hibs and other places. But Leonardstown can get expanded. Celtic still got miles of land to fucking do that. So the way the club is at the moment, why anybody would want to leave, mate, I just don't know why. I just don't know.
In terms of the young players, Ryan, I've heard through various different sources, mate, guys that have been, I know, go to Celtic Park, and I've heard a lot of this to do with finances, mate. They're losing these young boys because of their own peanuts.
I can understand that, right? But surely the future's the money, no the new. Surely the new is developing, getting better, and then go making your money.
Well, we would think that, mate, but that's not right, because, again, I think it's a combination between the finance side of things and these boys' agents who are filling their head with total nonsense. I mean, for the young lad, Ben Doak, to leave Celtic to go to Liverpool, I'm just, I don't know what in the next couple of years where he sees himself. Because I don't mean this to sound rotten, but I don't think Mo Salah is shaking himself now. And I don't think Luis Diaz is shaking himself now. So, because I don't know, I'm baffled by it, mate. I really am. I'm totally baffled. And my only thoughts behind it is going to be finance. Especially in that individual scenario, because I just can't. He's only 16 now, so I don't get where, like, people have been talking about Karamoko, this, that, and that. He must, and he's got to have given an indication that he wants to beat Celtic, mate. Otherwise, he wouldn't even get brought on last night. Because the boy Doak has been right out of the picture since obviously his decision was made a while ago. And he doesn't beat about the bush, mate. He'd probably sat that boy down with his mum and dad and went, look, what's happening? Where do you see yourself? And the boys were like, I want to try other hands, which is fine. And he said that before. I'm not going to try and storm the way, empty. But I don't want you mixing with my guys either, because I don't want to upset my dressing room. Because that's all it's going to do, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to up, because the players then start. If I was a player, I knew there was a chance the boy wanted to leave, especially like McGregor and Forrest and boys that have been there fucking most of their career. I'd be like, the wee guy, you have your eat. What are you doing? Look, so again, it's bringing up scenarios and situations in the dressing room that maybe Ange didn't want. Because then conversations sparked in it. And depending on what type of character the wee guy is, I don't even know the boy, so I'm only giving a for instance, he could be a wee fiery character and he might not like what Forrest or McGregor says to him, or even Beaton, guys that have been there a while, Rogic. We get Hinkney about to leave and blah, blah, blah. And then it develops into an argument.
Aye.
And before you know it, you've got a young boy shouting at him, or him shouting, or them shouting at him and giving him a hard time. Ange's just trying to avoid all that. So Ange's attitude is, right, see, wee man, there you go. You'll be training with the under 12s. You know what I mean? And for me, that's a fair way of doing it. Because if I knew for a fact you weren't going to give your all, and you were only here just to run your contract down, blah, 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 whatever you were doing, you wouldn't be training when I book me. You'd be training, I don't care how good a player you are. You'd be training with the under 10s. And you show up early, you leave late, and you know, that's just my opinion, mate. I know these guys are young guys and you don't want to demoralise them, but you know what? See when you come in and you show a bad attitude and you back of your mind you want to go, that to me is demoralising. It's demoralising for me as your manager. So I get where he's coming from, mate. You know what I mean? Because he's not going to put hundreds of effort and work hard, and coaches try and mould these guys into top talents, mate. If in the back of their head they're really, it doesn't matter anyway, because come summer I'm off ski. But the big boy had Hajelde, mate. I heard through a couple of sources, he was never staying with Celtic, mate. No. Never. The big boy, I think it was a big boy, Vincent. Big Italian goalie.
Aye. You know,
he's a bit annoyed. He's went to Watford.
Watford, that's it. Aye.
He was another one. Thought he was a Valley big boy. Because he poked 2 saves off in a game or something like that. I think he thought he was an ex fucking Tafarel, Brazil. And the next Buffon. Because he was able to come out for a corner and Barkas couldn't.
I think it gets back to obviously I think as well, mate, what Brendan Rodgers says. You don't make it at Celtic unless you play. I think he says it was it 50 games or something. He says that, I can't mean the way he says, but he says you've got all these young guys kicking about saying I play with Celtic. No, you don't. You play with a youth team. You don't play with Celtic. Celtic is when you played Kieran Tierney or Scott Brown, McGregor, when you play all sorts of games, then you're a Celtic player. But you should never think I've made it. You should never think that any level of football. But the way I see a youth player, you're in an academy to develop, to get stronger, to be I think Celtic to try and make you a better person. They try and mould you as your life. But at that age, you might be amazing. It doesn't mean that you need to go. You can have a good career at Celtic. 9 times out of 10, right? Players leave Celtic and they still have a good career. Maybe got to Kilmarnock or Forest Green or whatever. But very rarely do they go higher. Very rarely. Look at Lee Griffiths. He's away. Falkirk. He might be playing with Trent Juniors in 2 years' time, right? But let's be fair, as I said before, the guy was brought for us, so I'm not going to say anything else about him. But you've got other guys like maybe Craig Beattie left Celtic, had a decent career down south, maybe else, but didn't play when with the high on Celtic. Guys, stuff like that. Guys, very rarely. The only really guys you maybe think is like Larson. I'm trying to think who else went and done better. I really can't. I've tapped my nut. I can't really think. You've got Frimpong, you've got guys like Foster, Wanyama. But I want to say Van Dijk. But he's went to Southampton first, and then he's went to Liverpool.
Aye.
Very rarely do you get a team. Well, to be fair, he's a different kettle of fish, man. We knew that guy was going to leave.
But not a lot of teams will leave Celtic and go to Barcelona, mate. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Very rarely will guys leave Celtic and go higher unless they're going big money. But very rarely will they leave Celtic for a few million or a free
Maybe
transfer.
Frimpong.
Aye, he's probably rumoured to go to Bayern Munich, but
Dortmund want him, I know.
aye, he's talked about this all day, mate.
He's
but
just been picked for a Holland squad as well, mate.
it just shows you, mate. There's talent everywhere, but at a certain age, mate, I think you should stay at a club and rebuild and develop. And I just think it's all down to advice they get and what they feel. If that's the move they want, I think it's going to make them better. Then fair enough. But obviously, your last opinions, mate. Obviously, the game and going forward.
Just the game was tough, Ryan. As I say, mate, we totally strolled it. I knew we would have anyway, to be honest. I had a wee joke with a couple of my pals, and I was like, I think this might be a dodgy one. I even said it to my dad. When I saw the team line up, when I saw no Bada and no Jota, that kind of, don't worry me, but it kind of, I was like, what's going on here? And just to that comment Ange made about higher intensity in trainings went up now, it's competition for places, and I thought, well, it's not going to start at the expense of fucking some of our best players.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like crunching tackles, getting in training, man, and these guys are out for months. But no, moving forward, mate, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very good. Obviously, next month, April, you're going to have 3 Glasgow derbies. It's going to make or break the season, I suppose. It's kind of, you want to be greedy, you want to win all 3, of course, but I think I would say the next one, away from home, going to the big course, I think you win that, then it's gave you all the momentum. I even would say Celtic an early goal that game, the way they have done lately in games. It's going to have a massive psychological effect on them, Ryan, because it'll bring their memories back to the panties down incident in Parkhead that they had to go through. And you could tell that night, mate, it put the fear of God into them.
Yep.
And you could see a gulf between the two teams. So I would like to see us. I'd love to see us win everything, Ryan. I don't know whether that's going to be possible or not with a brand new team. If it is, then absolutely fantastic. Do I think we'll win everything? No. But I'm only saying that now because anything's still possible, Ryan.
I think if you get,
I'm not saying no because I don't think we're not good enough to do it. That's not what I mean.
I think if you get to the final, mate, if you beat them and get to the final, I think I actually said to my old man, mate, I said, see if you win at Ibrox and then you beat Rangers in the semi, you go 6 points over ahead and you're in our final and you don't win a treble. I know it might sound daft, but I'd be pretty sick. I think I would be
so
sick.
Would I.
If you get to the final and don't win it and then you're 6 points ahead and you don't win the league, I know we've been through a rebuild, but for me the rebuild's just about done now. Where we are now, and you can't go back now. If we lost the league and they didn't win the Scottish and you got to the final, you'd be a tiny wee bit sick. Obviously, if you lost, do you know what? Maybe 1-2, 2 out of 3, fair enough. But you'd be a tiny wee bit fucking frustrated if you didn't win it. But I'm like you, mate. Until you get to a final or until you get close to win the league, I'm not going to mention fuck all about trebles. It's just the next game. The next game, it's only 3 points. It's 3 points. And I think that's the way. I think that's the only way we can look at it.
Aye, definitely, mate. A game at a time. I like their approach to it as well. A game at a time. The next one's a Ross County game. We're not even thinking about them in the semis. We're not thinking about us. And obviously, it was very interesting, the draw. And you could see the excitement on a big man's face when it went to him. He said, oh, nice one. No, doesn't matter. Listen, I don't think to Ange, to be honest with you, Ryan, I don't think it matters who we got. If it was Ross County, Rafe Rovers, Livingston, it wouldn't have mattered. Games at Hampden, we've got a home dressing room, we were a home tie for it, so we were drawn out first. The only thing is I know a couple of the boys have mentioned the 17th of April. Is that because I've not seen anywhere that it's been announced or
It's not
confirmed?
been confirmed, but I think normally Celtic Rangers I think normally it's always a second game. It's always a Sunday normally, isn't it?
Because we were drawn out first, I'm thinking to myself, why not just play on a Saturday at 3 o'clock?
Well, I hope no, because I've asked the Sunday, Monday off. So better a Sunday. No, I don't know, mate. I don't know, but I think the talk is it's going to be Easter Sunday.
Right. And I think that's a bit shocking, I know. I mean, a lot of guys and women have got families and, you know, like, it's Easter Sunday and it's a lot of kids, people go and see other members of family, and Easter's similar to Christmas Day in terms of you go and see your family and you go and, you know what I mean? You go and spend time with them, and I would think that would be a bit, I suppose it doesn't matter because then you've got the Edinburgh Derby and Norwich, obviously they've all got families too, so regardless of who's going to be playing that day, it was going to be unfair, but I just hope it's no better 12 o'clock game. I don't think so myself. I think it's going to be 3, 4 in the afternoon.
I think as well, mate, it's going to be a good spectacle for Scottish football as well.
Yeah, well, I know it'll be interesting to see obviously the crowd, because I'd imagine it'll be half and half split. There'll be none of this, they're not getting in and neither they, or getting them 800 tickets and they're not getting any, and all the other nonsense that we've had to deal with the last couple of years. And that as well, I mean, I thought Celtic were spot on when they came out and they says, look, you don't speak for us, we're not off of anything, we don't, you know, we'll tell our fans what's happening, no use. When you say, there's got to be games, there's got to be fans back in for the next couple of derbies, Celtic went out right away and went, hold on a minute, you're speaking for yourself. No, you're their chairman, no ours.
Yep.
Don't come out and tell what we're doing. You talk about your own team. I thought that was brilliant with Celtic straight away. As I say, moving forward, mate, I'd like to see us progress the way by the way, I'm actually quite excited to see what he means by it when he said that the team's going to peak coming towards the end of the season. I kind of get what he means in terms of getting injuries back, and because I think we'll be a different machine with Kyogo and Turnbull back in that team, mate. I really, really do. If the team's not scary enough, mate, you know, I mean, even last night, you can look at that team, no Jota, no Abada, no Kyogo, no Turnbull, no danger. Unbelievable. Like, add them to the mix, and Tam Courts was greeting for his mammy at half time. No, but he's pre-match interview. Aye, we've got a game plan, and you know we're looking to get the early goal and the first goal, and we want to send my fans away happy. I'm like, do you honestly think you've got a chance? Like, have you watched Celtic play the last couple of weeks, Tam?
Well, see, actually on that, I watched a bit. I think it was Go Radio. I've not listened to it all. I'll send you to listen to it all, but James and Pate was asked on the spot who's harder to play against, and he says, Celtic by a mile. He says Celtic by a mile. So
no, listen, Charlie Mulgrew said that he's a Dundee United player, and Big Mulgrew says that the speed that we play at is just totally night and day for the rest of the league. He's like, they're just unbelievable, the speed, the fitness of them. They just don't give you a second to breathe. I think the boy Fuchs came out and said that the last time we went to Tannadice and gave him a doing again. The one with Butcher could have put Turnbull in the hospital, remember?
Yeah.
Again, only a yellow card. You're going to see another referee, and you're like, what do you see it be doing, man? Like, just totally baffling, mate. Totally baffling. But I'm just dead excited, mate, to see what's going to happen, because I think adding Kyogo to Maeda and Giakoumakis, and it's just going to give us an abundance of firepower, Ryan, that we've not seen in a long, long time. Probably since the three amigos, Tom, Di Canio, no, Tom's a midfielder, Cadet, Di Canio and Van Hooijdonk. And then you'd Hearts and Sutton and Larson. For me, they three are as close to, as strong. Like, the three of them have got similarities in them. Kyogo, for me, is like Henrik, Ryan. No, in terms of, he might not be in the game for 80 minutes and before he scored two. Maeda is probably similar to Big Hartson in terms of goal poaching. Like, he gets himself into good positions for goals. Giakoumakis is probably very similar to Big Sutton in terms of the way he draws fouls up the park. And he's clever with his body. He puts his body in and he knows he's getting a foul. It might be sore, but he knows he's getting a foul. And he's a big unity of boy. So he can afford to do it. And that's what Big Sutton did. But what Big Sutton developed with us, Ryan, was game awareness and his touch. Playing alongside Henry. He talks about it even still to this day, mate. Like, his first touch probably wasn't the greatest, and when he started playing with Henry, he got there. You know, he improved tenfold. He knew about why Larson liked to play quick. No messing about. Don't take 2 and 3 touches to give me the ball. Just fucking give me the ball. And I would imagine Giakoumakis beside Kyogo or beside Maeda, he looks as if he'd be quickly realise that, right? In terms of, like, knock this on, the wee man's on, he's onto that. And the two of them are lightning fast. And they two pressing on a high press is going to be frightening to watch, right? I don't know about you, mate, but I'm well excited to see what they two are going to bring. Because she's a centre half, like any of the ones in the league that are up against him, we can't make it. You'd be looking at your manager going like, "Hey, dirty fuck, man." You know what I mean? Where the fuck did they two come from?
No, I agree, mate.
You're either subbing him on or subbing him off, and then you're putting him on, you're putting him off maybe in 50, 60 minutes when he's run his course. You're going like, come on.
Aye, mate.
The speed that Celtic have got. And then if Forrest, just say for talk's sake, Forrest gets back to what we know he can do. That he showed wee glimpses in the Livy game, and then again for me last night, I thought he played quite well as well. And he showed it against Livy. He scored a great goal for, I would say, a difficult angle, especially on his left peg. But if that's Forrest starting to, gain his, it might take a wee while again. It might not be next season again. You'll see Forrest might still take a wee while, and he's gaining that wee bit of momentum. But the speed we've got now, Ryan, and the options we've got is fucking frightening. And we spoke about it before, mate. You're standing in the tunnel and you're looking across and you're seeing, there's Kyogo, there's Giakoumakis, there's Maeda. You're going, oh, no, what's it going to be today? 2 or 3, 4, 5, whatever. Your teams are looking at us now going, like, we'll be lucky if we come out of this 2-0.
Aye, it's relentless, isn't it? I'm like you, mate, just going forward, game by game. So many options, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. It might be nervous, but I'm confident that we'll have a lot more success, and I think we understand for what I'm just saying. I think we're going to peak very soon if that's not us peaking. I'm the same as you, mate. Everything's positive. Everything's going to keep being positive. I feel I don't really see any having any downers in the next few weeks anyway. But we just go for air and we just keep being positive, mate, and being excited about the squad we've got. But again, mate, thanks for your time, and until next episode, mate, thanks for your time. Hail, and take care.
Cheers, Ryan. Hail, mate.